Hello, and thank you for watching my second video on transformations. At the end of the last video I didn't tie up this one last thing, and I just really needed to tie it up this time. So let's say we had the base function f of x equals x, and as you know already, and you can graph it on your calculator. So if we went to our calculator, and let's see, I'll go ahead and clear everything out, graphed it, we just have the straight line this way. And so I've kind of already illustrated that here. I have the base function f of x equals x and a line to represent it. Now, what would happen if we put a number that was not greater than 1 in front of the x? Now, you may already have the intuition, and that's fine, but I'm just going to go ahead and show you anyway. So let's say we had, instead of f of x equals x, let's say that we had f of x equals 1/2 x. What would that do? Well, we can go into our calculator and we can plug it in, and so we can go ahead and go to the second one, go down and hit 1 divided by 2 x, and then we can go over to make it bold so that we know that that is the different one. So let's see what happens. Let's see what shift or transformation occurs. Okay, and so as you remember from before, when we had, let's say, a number that was greater than 1, it made it more steep. Well, this one makes it less steep. And so if we would imagine to be on the original base function line and we were skiing, we'd be going really fast. But if we adjusted to a slope that was more like this one, which is less steep, we would be going slightly slower, right? And let me show you a good example. So if we take the other one and we plug it in, and let's say we do 2x, now we can see that third line, okay, is the steeper slope. So we have the base function here in the middle, okay? We have the steeper slope here, and we have the less steep one here. And so I'm going to go ahead and just draw this out for you. So let me get a different color, and we'll just do blue. Alright, and so we have f of x equals 2x, and that gives us a line that's a little bit more steep. Oh, I messed up. Right through the axis there. And we have f of x equals 2x. And go back, let's see. Can go back to, and this one would be less steep. Okay, now, as you can see, we have, okay, let me go ahead and label it too while I'm at it. Now, what would occur, and let's see, I'll just grab green real quick. What would occur if we had an equation, and I'm just going to make this up offhand, so let's see. What if we had f of x equals, let's say, 1/3 x plus 4. And at this moment, if you would like, I'll encourage you to go ahead and pause the video and try to think about in your mind, try to picture what exactly happens to the base function. Well, okay, let's break this down. So let me get a different color here. We'll do orange. Alright, so what does this 1/3 do? Well, this 1/3, just like this 1/2, makes it less steep. So the new function, whatever it is less steep than the base function. Well, what does this do? Well, this, if you'll remember from the previous video, shifts the base function up, by 4. So we have the base function, which is right here by the yellow line. We shift it up 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So let's say that we're there. And we're going to make it less steep. So it's not going to quite have the same slope. It's going to be just a little bit smaller. And it's going to actually be less steep, because if you didn't know this, 1/3 is less than 1/2. So it's actually going to be less steep than even the red line. And so we're trying to draw that. Let's see what that looks like. So let me get me green. Alright, and so I'm going to go ahead and start here, so I can control the slope, and it's going to be less steep. So if it was like this, it'd be parallel, but it's going to be less steep than the other line. And so we're going to do this. Okay, and I'll go ahead and label it and see if it comes out okay. So x equals 1/3 x plus 4. Alright, so get my calculator out, and let's see, got that. Yeah, I'll put it right here. Okay, so I'm going to go to y equals, and I'm going to clear out, so I'm going to leave the base function in the beginning, or in the first one, the first slot there, and then I'm going to punch this in. So 1 divided by 3, close parentheses, x plus 4, and I'm going to hit, actually, you know what, let me go ahead and change this one to a bolded line so we can differentiate it from the first one. So there's our base function, just like it did, and this one, and as you can see, they eventually run into each other, intersect right here, which they would have done right about here, and so I succeeded. Now, the last example that I'm going to throw at you, and it's not any more difficult than the ones we've been doing. Let me see a new color. We'll just go ahead and do white since I haven't done the white this video. Let's go ahead and take this one down to about there. Okay, so we're going to have a function, and I'm just going to make it up offhand like I do most of the time. And it's going to be equal to negative 4x minus 2. Okay, so how does this affect the base function? Alright, the first thing that we have to look at is that this negative sign. This negative, if you remember from the previous video, inverts it. Basically, whatever line we would have had, we flip it down like a mirror across this axis, across the x-axis. So whatever we have on the other side translates and goes back. So this is going to make the line flip. Okay, and it also can be said it causes it to be downward sloping. So downward sloping. And then we have this one. So we have this negative 2, and if you'll remember, the positive 4 in this example shifted us up. Well, that means if positive shifts us up, then negative will shift us down. Okay, so we have flip, shift down. Oh, and I forgot about this 4. What does this 4 do? Well, if we remember, the 1/3, okay, so any number from 0 to 1, so any number in between there, will make this thing less steep. Well, a number greater than 1 will make this thing more steep. And so really what we get is that we get a more steep line shifted down and flipped. So we're going to go down 1, 2, I'm going to color in our dot right there. We're going to become more steep, so we want to try to be steeper than what we've been in the past. Okay, and it's going to be shifted up. It's going to be downward sloping because of this negative in front. I hope you enjoyed my video. Thank you for watching.